ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning to one and all. Thank you at the outset. Thank you so much for making a time out to come to this one of the annual flagship event of the town, if I must say, because we are going to talk about a very important, pressing topic, which is on making our town, Lamka town, or also known as Suanzamung town, climate friendly, green, and resilient for the future. Just would like to take 2 minutes of your time as we're set for this program. Vision Lamka, in its few years since its inception, has been quite exemplary in taking up issues that are otherwise not getting the kind of attention that they require in this town. The conversations, the priorities are often political, also very, very, very hard. And in the midst of this, we tend to forget that if we want to build a town that we are all proud of, a town, a community that we are all, proud to show to our friends, to our future generations, that we have to take up issues, involving landscape planning, urbanization, about how green it would be, the space for recreational parks, and many other aspects that would involve the making of this town the best place on earth. With those words, we'll proceed. But before we proceed, just few housekeeping announcements. One is, please keep your phones in silent mode or in vibrate mode. Second is to request the speakers to stick to their times. And third is this is also an invitation to invite all of you to be active participants in today's meeting. With those words, and without much further ado, I would like to welcome Pu and Neihsial, retired IDS and chairman of Vision Lamka, to deliver the welcome address. Thank you.
I'll take out this one. So those of you who feel the need, you can put on. Good morning to all of you. Dr. Joshi, Principal Chief Conservator of Forest and Head of the Forest Forces, Government of Manipur, and his team of senior officers from the Forest and Environment, and Rayburn College Principal is not here, but his team of dedicated workers and faculty, all resource persons who have taken all the pain of making presentation to us, the participants, invitees, professionals, the media team, leaders from the social organizations, and my own colleagues from Vision Lamka. I am really pleased to welcome you today in this important seminar, which we call it Green Seminar. We are not doing this seminar only because globally this is talked about today. It's not because there was a, Kyoto Protocol. It's not because of the Paris Agreement. It's not because of the recent seminar in Glasgow. We are organizing this because we feel the need of it. In the town that we need to be aware what is going to happen to us, not in the distant future, but very, very soon. Even after this month, we are going to face a problem. Luckily, for the last few days, I am told that it has been raining, so the water supply is slightly better off. But December, January, February, March comes. We all know that what has been our condition. That is one of the impact of climate change. That is one of the impacts of finishing the forests, the grasses, and careless exploitation of natural resources around us. As we all know, this town is growing like anything. When we are slightly younger, the very building where we are sitting now used to be a paddy field. At this time of the year, we see a beautiful yellow food grains, all the paddy field around here. But it is full of buildings now. We are not against the buildings. This is the kind of exploitation actually human beings are doing. Not necessarily because of they need it, but because of greed. Things are happening around us. We are Vision Lamka, a group of people initially formed a society with the initiative from Delhi. Of course, we got registered here in Suanzamung. We have started about 2.5 years back. Before last year, we had one seminar, half day, on self-sustaining urban settlement. Last year also, we proposed to do quite a few of the things, but because of the ongoing pandemic, we are not able to organize actual seminars or workshops. This time, luckily, with the diminishing trend of the pandemic, we are able to organize today. Particularly, we are happy that today PCCF is available with us. Not only he, but his team of officers are also with us. We are also happy to have the base of minds that we have as a resource person in this area. Before last year, we have, when we made a half-day seminar, we make one announcement. In fact, more than one announcement. One was that if any locality in Suanzamung town area comes up with proper planning of their locality, Vision Lamka is ready to recognize that locality by giving a gift of 1 lakh rupees. That offer has not gone. It is still with us. Any locality which comes up, okay, this is the road design that we have. This is the nala design that we have. These are the area and the manner in which we propose to plant trees. These are the manner in which the domestic sewage system is going to flow into the main line. And these are the kind of building that we propose to design for our locality. You are free to approach us. We'll recognize you by giving a sum of 1 lakh rupees. That is not a big amount. It's only appreciation and recognition. That remains with us. Anybody can come to us. Secondly, we also make an announcement that any student who have done some research relating to Lamka or Suanzamung town in any topic, any aspect, let it be social aspect of it, let it be environmental aspect of it, let it be anything of that. If any student gets a degree or a certificate in doing some research relating to this town area, Vision Lamka is ready to recognize that person or scholar with a sum of 10,000 rupees. So I am repeating today, if any one of us or any one of people who are around here, even from outside, comes up and come up with some research paper, then please let us know. Vision Lamka will be more than happy to formally and officially recognize you. Apart from this, today we have selected some themes which are all related to each other. I expect all of us to enthusiastically participate and become a part of the thinking process that we need to start now. We have occasionally heard from people that what these fellows are talking about, what they are going to talk about, they are talking only in the hall. There is not going to be any change in the town. People's mindsets are not going to change. That's correct. But before actions are actually started, we need to talk first. So let us talk first today. And if we talk today, action probably may come after 30, 40 years. But if we don't talk even today, then action will never come about. So let us talk and let us discuss what should we do about this town and the people. Approximately 60-70% of the district are already settled here, according to my estimate. Villages are being left, hill areas are being left. We are just coming together and just living like animals. If we don't do something about it, within 10 to 20 years, this place will become nothing but accumulation of garbage, where everything, bad things will start. That is that I would like to actually just highlight, though I'm actually supposed to be welcoming all of you. So today, let me not take much of a time. The last session is supposed to be very important, particularly, not that others are not important. I would request all of you to be there, participate actively, and come up, if we can come up with some actionable program. That is the intention of this entire seminar. With these few words, once again, thank you, all of you, for having come here. And please participate and contribute in the discussions that is to be followed, that will follow after the papers are presented by the resource person. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pu and Neihsial, Chairman Vision Lamka. The program schedule is with you all. I will not go into the details of them, but as we know, there are three main sessions: the inaugural, where we will have the keynote address, and also the first session, which is on a slightly giving a macro level kind of perspective, and the third or the second session, which is coming down to the local level and see what kind of research, what kind of community mobilization and work has gone into, and research has gone into, taking up some of the issues that we are talking about today. As we all know, the dream or this shared aspiration of making our town, this Lamka, a green city on the green hills, is an ambitious one. It will not be easily met, but that requires the convergence, the coming together of various stakeholders and departments, the community, the scientific community especially. And in today's event, the highlight is really on the State Forest Department and what can we do together, what can we learn from them. The community is always with us. We have a host of our community leaders here. And I'm sure there'll be lots to take away from today's presentations and sessions. So to start off that, we would like to invite Pu A.K. Joshi, IFS, Principal Chief Conservator Forest and Head of Forest Force, Government of Manipur. Sir has had a very distinguished career as a forest officer, a thorough professional, and we would like to invite him now to deliver the keynote address. Over to you, sir.
A very good morning to all of you. Neihsial, the Chairman of Vision Lamka, Secretary Vision Lamka, then the Principal of the Rayburn College, where we are having this seminar on Green Vision Lamka, then distinguished invitees, the guests who are here, my colleagues from the Forest Department, Rui and DFO Esther, ladies and gentlemen, I am really honored to be here today amidst you. and more honored because I have been invited to talk on such an important topic, building a green city amidst the green hills of Manipur. That is the real, vision of a really green city of Lamka. Now, let me start with Manipur. Manipur, as we all know, it's a very blessed state. Manipur is, abundant in natural resource. It has a very rich biodiversity. When we talk of the forests are also very diverse. We have all kinds of forests here. We have the tropical forest, we have the evergreen forest, we have the alpine forest, we have the montane, sub-montane. So all kinds of forests are there, a lot of biodiversity. Even in wildlife, when we talk of wildlife, this Manipur and this northeast part of the country, this falls in the two hotspots of biodiversity. One is the Indo-Himalayan biodiversity hotspot, and is the Malayan hotspot. And that is why there's a mingling of these two kind of geographic zones. Because of this, the state has a very unique flora and fauna. This is very unique to Manipur. We have, it's a beautiful location right in the center. We have the valley surrounded by hills, the verdant hills, green hills, sometimes known as the Blue Hills of Manipur. There was a bus service here earlier by the name of Blue Hills. So initially when I came here, when we see, especially in the winter, they were all blue hills. And it used to be wonderful. It's a very kind of, so much natural resource, so much, the rivers, there are so many rivers all flowing into the Loktak Lake, and the Loktak is a natural water basin. So it's kind of idyllic, so to say. But unfortunately, if we look around us now, we kind of see the signs of environmental deterioration and degradation everywhere, all around now. And because of this environmental deterioration and degradation, there is kind of the natural resources that we have. We are losing them. And we are losing them, and there are many reasons for that. Now, for example, I mentioned the Loktak Lake. Now, the Loktak Lake, it's a kind of natural water basin here, but the kind of siltation and the pollution that is, flowing into the Loktak Lake every year, and it is increasing every year, year by year. In fact, all the pollution of Imphal city through the rivers and all, it is all coming into the Loktak Lake. All the hills which are surrounding, because now they are getting denuded, they are getting degraded, they are deforested. So all the topsoil, the fertile topsoil is all flowing into the Loktak. So what is happening to Loktak? There is a lot of siltation there. And earlier the depth was say 2 meters or 3 meters. Now there are parts where the depth has gone to as low as below 1 meter, which is very alarming. And the kind of soil nutrients that are flowing into it, because of the pollution, it's a very nutrient-rich water, because all kind of organic waste is flowing into it. And that is leading to the eutrophication of the lake. So eutrophication is where a lot of vegetative growth is there, and then the water body or whatever water source starts dying. So if urgent steps are not taken immediately by us, by all the stakeholders, by the government, by the communities, by all the departments concerned, we will have a very kind of grim picture in the future if we don't have the Loktak Lake. Because if Loktak is silted, all the water flows here, and all this will be flooded. We'll have regular floods. This is just one example. Now coming to forests, because forest is closer to my heart. In forests also, there is not a very happy kind of story to tell. We have this survey of forest report by the FSI, Forest Survey of India, which gives the kind of forest cover data that they estimate. They do the estimation by the satellite imageries. So in the last report that came out in 2019, that reported a loss of as much as 500 square kilometer of forest in Manipur, which is quite huge for a small state like Manipur, 500 square kilometers. And out of that, most of this forest loss was in the moderately dense forest, open forest, which is 10 to 40% density, and then somewhat in moderately dense. Very dense, we have very less, and there was lesser loss. So where we have the inaccessible area, where we have the very dense forest, it is seen that there is less kind of loss. And alarmingly, though it would not be very nice to hear in this gathering, the maximum forest loss was in Churachandpur district. Almost half. 250 square kilometers of forest was lost. Yes. So 250 square kilometers of forest. that is why I am just presenting before you. So these are the figures. And next was Tamenglong district with about 108 square kilometers. Now forests are under a lot of pressure, immense pressure. Now one is basically because we have the forest dependent communities here in the northeast as in all hilly areas. And this forest dependency is basically for fuel wood, for fodder, for food also, for fiber, these are the kind of bona fide needs of the people because who are dependent on the forest, which also has to be addressed. But more than that, there is this, we have the developmental activities, the diversion of forest land to non-forestry activities, but that also has not that much role to play. In Northeast and especially in Manipur, the major factor is the shifting cultivation or jhum that is practiced. And this is, one of the reasons why we are having these kind of, deterioration and forest degradation. Because earlier this shifting cultivation, jhum that we have was kind of sustainable in the sense that the jhum cycle was quite large. Because if one area was, cut and burnt and all that, and then it will be again, be available for use only after 20-25 years. That was the jhum cycle. Now jhum cycle is reducing. So it has come down to 8 to 10 years. And we see such situation that, an abandoned jhum area, natural regeneration takes place very fast. And say 1 year there will be nice forest, but the next year if you go, it will be completely degraded because it will have to be slashed and burnt. So some kind of solution has to be found out for jhum also. We in the department are taking it up very seriously. We have kind of prepared some projects which we had submitted to Ministry of Agriculture also. Some small percentage has been approved also. I think even in Churachandpur district, we are having some program on that. At the same time, we are also approaching our Ministry of Environment Forest to have some kind of policy on jhum, especially for the Northeast, because this is not only restricted to Manipur, but to the other states also. So that is also kind of very important. And of course, there's a lot of illegal felling also taking place. Lot of illegal felling because we have so much wood-based industry. Like in Churachandpur, we don't have any recognized wood-based industry, any licensed sawmill. But while I was coming on the road, everywhere I saw this thing, whatever wood shop and all that. So I was wondering, so these are things which department has a role, but I think this kind of forum is there to, kind of bring these issues out and let the society also debate and the local community should also debate, and we have to find some solutions to it. Forests, as all of you are aware, are the lungs of the earth. They are the lungs of the earth because forests absorb the carbon dioxide and they release oxygen. So they act as the lungs of the earth. But it's not only this kind of what is known as carbon sequestration or carbon sink. Forests act as a carbon sink, and then which has a direct kind of impact on the climate change. And once you have the discussion and the debate, one of the most important aspect of the debate in any climate change negotiation, whether it is Sir was mentioning about Paris Agreement and the Glasgow Summit, is on forestry. How forestry can help in mitigating, absorbing all that carbon dioxide that is there in the air. But at the same time, forests are also providing a number of services which we generally take for granted. We don't even, recognize them. We never because these are all taken for, it is the natural course of things. Now, of course, the attempts have, not now, but last 20, 30 years, there have been a lot of studies on what are the services. These are known as ecosystem services. What are the ecosystem services that the forests are providing? Besides timber and food and fuel wood and all that, and of course, the role in carbon. So, as many as 30, 34, 35 kind of ecosystem services have been mapped that forests are providing. In fact, there is a very interesting study in 1997 by a team led by a scientist by the name of Costanza. Costanza 97 et al. That is the reference of that paper. That was published in Nature magazine. So what this paper had done was it had attempted to kind of put a value to all the ecosystem services of all the ecosystems of the world, of the globe. Whether it was forest ecosystem, marine ecosystem, desert ecosystem, the polar ecosystem, all kinds of ecosystems they had evaluated. And the figure came out to be, at that time in 97, was 33 trillion US dollars. So that is the kind of, the valuation that has been given to the ecosystem services. That is, of course, even Government of India is now into the act, so to say. So they have started a national resource accounting. And in Manipur also they have an NRSL. We have a national resource accounting cell. There's a coordinating body of, Audit and Accounts, and by the name of GASAP. GACAB, GASAP. GASAP, what is the full form? Government Accounting. Yes, advisory board. So that also, that kind of attempt is also being done by the government. So I was just, highlighting the ecosystem services that the forests are providing. Some of the main ones are the hydrological cycles, the water cycles, how the water is, absorbed in the forest. Wherever there is forest, there will be a lot of water. In soil conservation, in soil quality, in soil nutrients, in soil carbons, in reducing the natural disasters, in pollination, in waste management. So there's so many services, as I said, 35 services. I mentioned about the undervaluation. This deforestation is not only kind of confined to Manipur or to Northeast, to India, but it's a kind of universal phenomenon, a global phenomenon. Even in the Amazon, there are reports that a lot of forest is being lost. So there is an estimate which says that the world loses about 14.5 million hectares of forest every year. So 14.5 million hectares forest is being lost every year. But then there is hope. They say that whatever forest that we have lost, estimated about 2 billion hectares of that can still be restored. Can still be restored if we take steps for that. It can be rehabilitated. It can be what is known as forest landscape restoration, FLR. So there are techniques for that, FLR, and if we employ those, then these forests can be restored. But the question comes of funding, because that requires money. And that is one of the kind of debatable point in the climate change negotiation. Because in Glasgow also, who will fund this, whether the developed countries have to fund. Kyoto Protocol also, failed because of this, because there was always a divide between the developed and the developing countries, Annex 1 countries, Annex 2 countries, so all those things are there. So, now coming to urbanization and urban landscapes. This century, 21st century, has often been called the century of urbanization. Like Sir was mentioning, here also in Churachandpur, the hills where people were, based earlier, they all want to come to the urban area. And it's the story everywhere. Everywhere, I think, throughout the world it is there. Everybody wants to come to the urban areas. They want to come to a better life. They want to have an easy life instead of struggling in the field for basic amenities. They want to come here and this thing. But that is putting a tremendous strain on whatever urban, cities and towns that we have. Today about 55% of the world population is estimated to be staying in urban areas. And by year 2050, this will rise to about 70%. So we have to cope for that. We have to cope for that, and that is why this seminar is very apt. I think very apt that this is addressing this kind of an issue, which has global connotations. It is everywhere. It's kind of common everywhere. And in India also, the past 50 years, I've seen a lot of growth, lot of development, especially in the metropolitan cities. Sir, and many of you have been in big cities in Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta, and the kind of population that has increased there, and the kind of spread, the kind of the area has expanded so much, because initially when we used to go, some of those areas are all this forest, Kikad forest, Aravallis and all that. Now it's all kind of taken over, and Noida extension, that is all agricultural lands have been converted to colonies. So, but at the same time, not only these big metros, even the smaller cities also, there has been a lot of growth. Like cities, for example, Lucknow and Bhopal and Indore, and Indore is incidentally has been rated as one of the cleanest cities, and that also for the last 5 years. So they have a very good municipal system working there, and they have been kind of managing. So we can learn. These are lessons that we can learn, and we can from these kind of experiences. This document that has been given, it was mentioning about the Sustainable Development Goal. Now, according to the UN environment, I was just going through, it says, as I said, it's a universal phenomenon. Most cities today are struggling with environmental degradation, traffic congestion, inadequate urban infrastructure, in addition to a lack of basic services such as water supply, sanitation, waste management. It's a common story everywhere. And what requires this to be done is that a sustainable growth model or sustainable development model has to be introduced. Ideally, a sustainable city is one that creates an enduring way of life. That is what the UN says, enduring way of life across the 4 domains: ecology, economics, politics, and culture. Sustainable cities or urban sustainability or eco-city is a city designed with consideration for social, economic, environmental impact, and a resilient habitat for the existing populations without compromising the ability of future generations to experience the same. So that not only for today's generation, but for future also we have to plan. And that kind of sustainable development, sustainable cities models we have to develop. I was reading here that cities and towns occupy 3% of the Earth's land, but they account for 60 to 80% of the energy consumption and at least 70% of carbon emissions. So small pockets, if you see a kind of satellite image at night, a night imagery of this thing, so you will see, pockets, and then there will be blank. If you see, for example, US, you will see one in the eastern coast, one in the western coast, and in the center it's all blank because they're very small cities. Major population is in the west and in the east. So, coming to Lamka, sir has addressed the issues that are being plagued here. I think just now this started working. Anyway, here also, we have the example of Chandigarh, which is so as I was saying, there are lessons to be learned from planned cities, and there's a need for better planning, and our town planning, our scientific planning has to be better managed than what it has been up till now. And in fact, even this pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic has taught us, the effects, the kind of the harsh lessons on planning, because during the pandemic, even oxygen was the kind of thing on which we were relying on. So if we can have these kind of cities, these kind of planning, which can mitigate these these effects of such pandemic through the green barriers. So a green city can always breathe better. It can protect its members better. Other greener options, of course, one is which is now known as urban forestry. So urban forestry is having these recreational areas of city, of gardens and flowers and city forests. So which act as the lungs, as I was saying, forests are the lungs of the earth. So these city forests will act as the lungs, and this is required. This is very much required here. That in our eco planning, in our this thing, that there has to be more green public spaces. There have to be groves, the water parks, water bodies, nature walks. These all have to be kind of part of this thing. But apart from this, there are many options, like in public transport. In Europe, if you go in any city nowadays, they use the tram. The electric trams, this thing, and everywhere. And Churachandpur is ideal for that kind of system, because of the terrain, because of the topography, very gentle slopes, and it's an extension of the valley. So that can be introduced here, trams. Even metro lines can be introduced. Even in Europe these days, there's this thing of cycling. They are very bicycle friendly places like Netherlands. If you go, everybody you see, even the Prime Minister is riding a bicycle to the Parliament and to the office. So those kind of options can be thought of in Lamka. These are some kind of ideas that I am giving. And of course, then parks and gardens for children. Of course, as we have mentioned, Lamka is growing, and it's kind of the way when I was coming here, the kind of activities that are going, commercial activities, residential, this and that, lot of more and more people are coming to settle here. So it's quite a vibrant city. Only thing is that it has to be channelized better, and I think this workshop will go a long way. I think these kind of initiatives will, because that means that there is a need felt for this kind of better management, better planning, better awareness, better idea sharing. So this will certainly help in a big way in kind of attaining this our goal. The question remains, how to balance the needs for growth and development, because any city that we have, any green city, it will have its requirements for energy also, and for traffic also, and for vehicle movement also, but at the same time to have a healthy environment. So this is the main question which we have to answer, and I think this is the right forum to kind of attempt to answer this question, to how to balance the need for growth and development, the economic development, the economic needs of the people, vis-a-vis the ecological kind of needs. I think I must stop here. To conclude, I must compliment the organizers of the workshop today, for it's a wonderful initiative. I'm told this is a regular feature, so I really compliment that the citizens here, the enlightened citizens here, have this kind of forum where they can discuss these kind of issues, and they can even invite us to share our views. And it's one of the greatest themes of converting our urban landscapes and developing them into environment-friendly, eco-friendly green city, and amidst the green kind of hills which we have in Manipur. We in the Forest Department are always ready to help in any way possible, and we assure you of our full cooperation on achieving this dream of a green smart city of Lamka. Our officers and staff are here. They'll always be in consultation, ready for consultation, and will provide the services as and when required, whenever required. And let us take this, dream, let us take this vision into a reality in the years to come. So let me thank the organizers for inviting me today and giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts on the topic. I wish this seminar a very, grand success, and I hope that it turns out to be a milestone in the development of a green Lamka. I'll just like to apologize that in fact I intended to stay here throughout the day and to participate in the seminar and to interact with all of you. But somehow, unfortunately, I had to, cut short my stay here. I have a flight to catch. I have to go to Delhi for a meeting with some of the externally aided project funding agencies. So I'll not be able to be here, but my officers will be here. They will be participating, and they will be, whatever it is, they will be kind of reporting, and we'll take it forward from here. So let me again assure you that we in the Forest Department are always, ready to help in whatever way we can. And we share this goal of Vision Lamka with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that very insightful, enlightening address, taking us through a journey right from some of the harsh realities of our district, of our state, and also to very encouraging words in terms of future collaboration. So thank you for those words. As a token of gratitude, sir, I would like to, from Vision Lamka, I would like to present you with a small gift, and I request the chairman, Vision Lamka, to kindly come and hand out, sir. Sir, if you can please kindly come on stage. Here, please. Yeah.
Okay, as a token of our appreciation.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I think this is relating to forest.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks once again.
Thank you. Some of the points that our chief guest highlighted, I think, are worth taking up, worth considering. For instance, if we look at the 15th Finance Commission, we are a district that loves the Finance Commission. And in the 15th Finance Commission that has been submitted to the Government of India, the forest and environment component has increased to 10% from 7.5% in the 14th Finance Commission. So there could be something that as a district we can explore on how to spend this in terms of landscape restoration. Also, the 2021 to 2030 is the United Nations decade on ecosystem restoration. So with the huge loss of our forest land in the last few years, we could make attempts or even small attempts to kind of reclaim and restore some of this greenery that we have lost. So now we'll move on to a very brief video presentation of Vision Lamka, the work that has been done in the last few years. And I request the technical person to please play the video, and then we'll break for tea and some interaction. Thank you. This video, just to give a highlight, is capturing some of the activities that Vision Lamka has been undertaking in the last few years. Thank you. With that, we have come to the close of this inaugural session, and we'll break for tea, and we'll converge here back at 12 o'clock. And once again, thank you very much to our chief guest, Pu A.K. Joshi, for honoring us in this event with your presence. Thank you, sir.